Hey guys, welcome to the 64th edition of the Animated Girls Profile Confidential. And today, the title says it all. We are looking at a character from a Nickelodeon show, a Nicktoons show, if you will, that basically, when you compare it to every other previous Nicktoons or Nickelodeon property out there, from the likes of SpongeBob, Breadwinners, and even Rocko's Modern Life, which is getting a rebooted movie this week on Netflix. You take a look at all those and you say to yourself, out of these three compared to Danny Phantom, one is not like the others. And Danny Phantom fell into that category with this show. And this character played a prominent part in this show, and of course we're talking about Samantha Manson, or Sam for short. Samantha / Sam is basically described as a goth girl, but not your typical goth girl. She's a goth girl with an eco-friendly personality. She's a vegetarian, and she believes in recycling and keeping the planet safe. Now, Samantha is a very unique character in her own right. I mean, I haven't watched the series as much as I should, but I do consider Danny Phantom is one of the better Nicktoons series that doesn't rely too much on its gross humor. I mean, heck, maybe I'll do another Animated Girls profile on this down the line. They introduced a female opposite to him called Danny Phantom, but instead of Danny is Danny, or Dana Phantom, if you will, who has the same powers. Anyway, long story short, Samantha, pretty much almost from the start, you could tell that she was going to end up being the love interest of Danny. Of Danny Fenton. That's the human name, or the human alter ego of Danny's ghost form, of Danny's normal form outside of his ghost form. Anyway, she is one of his best friends, and again, like I said, almost from the start, you could tell she's going to be the love interest. Now, Samantha, of course, with any typical show that has a character like her that's a best friend, potential love interest, and all that, she does intend to succumb to magic or different abilities and powers herself. In fact, there is one episode, I think there is 2 episodes prominently that puts Samantha in the role of an antagonist, but against her own free will. One is about a dragon amulet. And what this dragon amulet does is it turns the individual into a dragon when they get angry. That over time they start maybe showing a little bit of dragon signs and all that. And that eventually, as we get close to the end of the episode, to the climax, that's when they become a dragon. Or in this case, the amulet turns her into a ghost dragon. Now she does get reverted. She does get reverted, so we don't have to worry about that. The other time, of course, is later on in the series, in the episode Urban Jungle. Now, like I said, Samantha is a very eco-friendly goth girl that wants to keep the planet safe and keep the environment safe. So they encounter this villain, I can't think of his name right now, that basically manipulates her and basically brainwashes her or mind controls her into becoming the princess and eventually the new queen of his plant kingdom, basically his second in command. And how this happens, well, we've seen it in other shows. Not only does she get mind controlled and everything, and I guess given some kind of formula or something, but the way she's presented in her new plant form is she rises out of a rose, of a purple rose, with vines connected to her, with vines and everything connecting to her, while kind of holding her up, like a marionette a little bit. And basically you think that this would, now you would think Urban Jungle could serve as maybe a multi-part story, right? It could, but it was only a one-episode deal. Now, yes, she does get restored because I think Danny develops ice powers and he's able to freeze the villain, and by freezing the villain, that's able to, get the mind control off of Sam. Now, here's the thing though, and I will give the writers this about Danny Phantom, that again, like I said, made it stand out like something that didn't really belong on Nickelodeon. It was more along the lines of something you could find on Cartoon Network or Disney XD or whatever. And that was the fact that they went as far as to not only make her like the second in command, the princess, and then the queen of this new plant kingdom, but they had her deliver the line of, with thorny vines just wrapping around her like tentacles, if you will, and she's kind of like caressing them a little bit with her hand, and like the pets, if you will. She says she's the new mother. And now you would think, whoa, looks like it's going to be impossible for her to come back, because when a character says that basically means they're too far gone. But again, like I said, she is restored. Now, I don't know, what I'm trying to say is I don't know if they followed up on that a little bit. The one thing about the Nickelodeon shows, either they felt like they belonged on Nickelodeon or they felt like they belonged elsewhere, was I don't know if there was much consequences for the characters and their actions in episodes that followed. So I don't know if Samantha felt regret for what she did, and maybe she decides to tone down her eco-friendliness and all that, so she's not an easy target. I don't know. Anyway, long story short, the series ran for a couple of seasons, and there were times that Samantha would feel jealous of any other woman, even if that woman turned out to be maybe just a good friend that had interest in one of their other friends, if you will. Samantha, basically, like I said, as the series came to an end, was in that typical being a little jealous, even though she tried to hide it. But eventually, as the series drew to end and we got more moments, it became established at the end, and they did save it for the end, which I think a lot of series should do, that they officially made Samantha and Danny a Phantom. And to me, not a Phantom, but they made Samantha and Danny a couple, is what I'm trying to say. And to me, that's how it should. That's what a lot of shows should do. And for Nickelodeon to take a show like Danny Phantom, like I said, which, like I said, is one of those shows that just sticks out like a sore thumb, and it's like, why is this on? Why is Nickelodeon the one behind this when it feels like it should be elsewhere? To me, they did a good job here because they naturally gave us moments. They did a natural progression of Danny and Samantha's relationship. They evolved it from being best friends to being boyfriend and girlfriend. So I liked what they did here, and I liked how they made it naturally progress. And the way they did it is they made them go through a lot. They made them go through moments. You know, like I said, you take a look at the situations that Samantha ended up in. You know, those are moments that, hey, they're going to carry with them for the rest of their lives, because they're going to be like, yeah, you remember when this happened or that happened? Thank God, you know, I was able to be there for you. And there were times Samantha was there for Danny to help him out. And, you know, that's how a relationship, fictionally or reality-wise, should be done. You naturally grow it. You let it evolve. And I appreciate that the creative staff behind this did just that with Danny and Samantha's relationship. So to me, Samantha is definitely one of those characters that as a main protagonist who could fall victim to mind control, manipulations and all that, succumb to magic and be turned into things that she's not. She is the kind of character that, in my opinion, really cements her status as a character, as a best friend, and a potential love interest that even in real life you would want by your side. So that's all I could say on Samantha Manson, or Samantha Manson, slash Sam Manson, if you will. That's all I can say for her here on the 64th edition of the Animated Girls Profile Confidential. Thank you all for watching, ladies and gentlemen. I really appreciate it. Comment down below. Oh, thank you for all the support, and I will talk to you all later.